You registered in SAM.gov, your registration went active, and then nothing happened. And no solicitation that actually fits what you sell, no call from a contracting officer. Here's what nobody tells you at this stage. Your SAM registration is just paperwork. It makes you eligible to get paid. It doesn't tell one buyer that your business exists, and it doesn't put you in front of the people who decide who wins. So here's what I'm going to cover. First, the real reason registration doesn't produce contracts. Second, what you actually sell to the government, because you almost certainly already have it. And third, where I would start if this was my business, which is not where most people start. Stay with me until the very end, and I'm going to tell you the one thing that I would do with a SAM registration that most businesses never use it for, even after they pay someone else to set it up. Now, before I get into it, I'm hosting a live virtual training called 5 Expensive Mistakes Established Businesses Make When Adding Government Contracts as a Revenue Stream. We go deeper into what people are actually making mistakes on and how to avoid them and what to do instead. And in the live training, you'll have an opportunity to ask your questions live. The link is in the description, so grab your seat and secure it right now. My name is Melinda Colón. I'm a government contracting advisor and enterprise value architect, and my clients have won over $5.7 billion in contracts with a win rate of 74%. None of that came from finding a better portal. It came from strategy and from packaging what a business already does in a language a government buyer can evaluate and buy. So here's what most business owners lose time on. Most people believe that once they register their company in SAM.gov, complete the paperwork, and get their registration active, they are basically off to the races. And they start looking through SAM.gov. They start browsing state and local portals. They start researching for bids. They assume because that they're registered, contracts should just start showing up, right? But that is one of the biggest mistakes business owners make, not because registration is bad. You do need to be compliant. You do need the right registrations. You do need to be able to put your hat in the ring. But checking the box doesn't automatically make you the most competitive option. Registration gives you access. Strategy tells you what to do with that access. You see, without strategy, you can spend a full year bidding on work you were never positioned to win, or waiting on a buyer who has no idea your business even exists. If I asked you right now which agencies buy what you sell and roughly what they spent on it last year, could you answer it in one sentence? If the answer is no, that is not a paperwork problem. And the next 2 tips are where we fix it. Now, the first thing you need to know is what you're going to sell. That may sound obvious, but a lot of business owners get into government contracting and immediately start panicking, overcomplicating their business, thinking, well, I don't see the opportunity for my business, so let me go ahead and select whatever's there. They think they need to create a new business offer. They think they need to change what they do. They think they need to become something completely different in order to sell to the government. But here's what I want you to remember. If your offer is in demand in the commercial market, it is very likely it is in demand in the public market. If your business is already making money and people are already willing to pay for what you do, whether they are paying you or a competitor, then you have an in-demand offer. So government contracting is not always about changing your business. So most of the time, it's about positioning and packaging the business correctly for a different buyer. So think about a restaurant for a second. Years ago, my husband and I went on a date night at a really fancy restaurant, and it had a private dining table inside the kitchen. It was the same food you could order in the dining room, same menu, same chef, same service, but the environment changed the experience. You walked through the restaurant, saw the private table, saw another couple sitting there, and immediately the value felt different. The restaurant didn't create an entirely new product. It packaged the same product differently. And that is how you need to think about government contracting. You may be selling the same core service or product, but you are selling it in a different environment to a different type of buyer with a different procurement process and a different decision making lens. So the question becomes, how do you package what you already do so the government buyer understands the value? There is an old saying, one person's trash is another person's treasures. Entire businesses have been built from that idea. People find furniture that someone else no longer wants, clean it up, repaint it, stage it, and then resell it for top dollar. Now, the item didn't become valuable because it became something completely different. The value was revealed through the positioning, the packaging, and the presentation. That is what happens when you bring your commercial offer into a public sector the right way. You're not trying to become a different business. You are learning how to communicate the value of your business in a way that the government can buy. Another mistake business owners make is assuming that government buyers need something completely separate from what the commercial market buys. But look around. Starbucks has government contracts, and Ford has government contracts, and these companies aren't selling anything different from what they sell to you or me. They're selling what they already sell, but through a different channel, to a different buyer with a different buying process. That is the opportunity for established businesses. If you already have a real offer, real clients, real results, and real demand, you may not need to reinvent the business. You need to understand where the public sector demand exists and how to position yourself for it. So stay with me because the next thing I say is the reason some businesses win their first contract this year and others sit registered for 3 years with nothing. And this matters right now because we're in a major opportunity window. Long established contractors are retiring, closing their businesses, or selling it off. And contracts that have been locked up for years are starting to move. That creates opportunity for business owners who are prepared, positioned, and strategic. But if you are sitting on the sidelines thinking, I'm registered in SAM, so now I'm just waiting for contracts, you may miss the opportunity altogether. You have to know what you sell, who buys it, and where the buyers are. So here are the most important things I want you to understand. Depending on what you sell and the timing of the contract you are pursuing, your first opportunity may not come from the federal marketplace. It may come from your state, it may come from your county or city, your school district, a local hospital system, utilities, public works, or any other local public sector buyer. And that doesn't mean your SAM registration is useless. It means you should not assume SAM is the only place to start. Many contracts posted on SAM.gov are better suited for businesses that already know how to navigate federal contracting. Now, if you're newer to the process, state and local contracts can give you a different kind of leverage. You already have a proximity, relationships, and a reputation in that community. That's leverage: your location, your relationships, your certifications, and your past performance. So use what is already working instead of starting from scratch. So if you registered in SAM.gov and you're wondering why you're not getting contracts, I want you to stop asking, what portal should I search next? And start asking better questions. Here they are. What do I already sell that's in demand? Which agencies buy what I sell? Where do I already have leverage? What contract opportunities actually fit my business? How do I package my offer so the government understands my value? And what strategy do I need before I start bidding? Because access is not strategy. Registration is not positioning. Compliance is not competitiveness. And being listed in a system doesn't mean buyers understand why they should choose you. So, what do you actually do with the SAM registration? Keep it active and treat it as your federal on ramp instead of your starting line. While you're winning at the state and local level, you are building the past performance, the references, and the pricing history that make you credible federally. Then the registration you already paid for finally becomes useful because you show up with the proof instead of hoping a portal notices you. That is the order most businesses get backwards. And it's why so many sit registered for years with nothing to show for it. So, what did you learn? Access is not strategy, registration, not positioning. Being listed in a system doesn't tell a buyer why you. If this helped, give me a like and subscribe so the next video finds you. And if you didn't grab your seat for the next live training earlier, the link is still in the description. So I'll see you there.